Good afternoon. Happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome back to a special edition of Prize Picks on 5. A lot of action today around the world of sports. We have the Panthers and Heat both in action. So, wanted to bring you an early show tonight to cover the Panthers, who face off with Edmonton from sunrise at 4 p.m. So, an afternoon game against Edmonton and Connor McDavid, obviously, who's been lighting the league on fire this year as usual. So, I've got Alex Baumgartner from Fifth Line, 5 Reasons, to go over the matchup today. Before we start, want to make sure you sign up using promo code FIVE. You'll get a full deposit match up to $100. So make sure you sign up and use that code and deposit, and they will match it up to $100. So it's a good time to get in. You've got every major sport other than baseball going on right now. You've got boxing, you've got college football, college basketball, NBA, college basketball. There's so many ways to mix and match with Prize Picks. It's a great platform to diversify your entries and win a lot of money, hopefully. So want to thank Alex for joining us, and let's jump into this matchup, Alex. So what do you like from the Panther side this afternoon?
Well, right before we get into these picks, you just have to see that the Panthers are getting Matthew Tkachuk back after a 2-game suspension. Now, that 2-game suspension didn't hurt them at all, as they went 2-0 without Tkachuk. They are also getting back their number one defenseman, Aaron Ekblad, who has missed the last, I think, 11 games. He's just getting activated off of LTIR. So they were working the power play unit 1 in practice with him and Montour there, as it was as the first game of the season. So those are a couple things to look for when you are looking at any Panthers picks today. Another thing, they are playing the 2 leading scorers in the NHL in Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. And now while the Oilers have been on a little bit of a skid, losing 1, 2, 3, 4, it looks like about 3 or 4 of their last 5, they still have the 2 best scorers in the league. Now, I always like the Matthew Tkachuk shots on goal. We love looking at the trends here. And as David, you said earlier, when there's green, you like it. The only time he hasn't hit the over, or at least hit the 4 in the last 5 games, was that game against LA. And he's coming back after the 2-game suspension. Not only that, he's playing against the Oilers. And when he was in Calgary, those Battle of Albertas, he was the number 1 enemy. So I think he's going to be a little excited to play today against his former favorite team in the Edmonton Oilers. So I'm taking Tkachuk on the shots over 4.
Yeah, I think they're going to want to get him involved early and often in terms of the attack. And it's good to see Ekblad back as well. It's going to be exciting once the season starts to really round into shape, how this offense under Paul Maurice obviously is a little bit different so far this year. So I'm going to look at the Panthers as well. And somebody who I've always gone to this well, time and time again throughout the NHL seasons. And that's Sammy the Sniper, Sam Reinhart. 2.5 shots on goal. He's a little bit up and down typically throughout the season, but he's in one of those tears. You can see he was down 3 out of the last 5 under that number, but the last 2 games he has 12 shots on goal combined. I just like the volume there against Edmonton, who I believe gives up the second most shots in the NHL. So they're not typically getting back so aggressively. Like you said, they're a pretty offensive-minded team, I think. So I really like this value here with Reinhardt at 2.5. If it was at 3, I would be a little bit more on the fence, but because that gives you a push at 3. But I really like the 2.5 here. Anything from the Edmonton side, Alex? I know we talked about McDavid a little bit, in terms of the scoring. They got him at half a goal for the matchup. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so Edmonton has a couple injuries up front. Kailer Yamamoto did get hurt against Tampa, so he is back in Edmonton. He's one of their better forwards. And Evander Kane's out a couple months after he took an injury from a skate to I believe it was his arm. So that's 2 of their, I would say, 6 best forwards. McDavid, he's on pace right now to get about 2 points per game or something like that. And I think I want to check the stats correctly. I think he's at about a goal a game currently on this season. He's sitting at 15 goals in 15 games, 31 points, 15 games. So it's about a 50-50 chance if he hits that or not, because he's pretty much getting about a goal a game. Now, I'm not the biggest fan on the goal stat, but Connor McDavid is a little bit different. He's the best player in the NHL by far. And as you're looking at the trends, there's green everywhere except for that loss to Dallas. You're gonna hope, if you're a Panthers fan, Spencer Knight keeps his hot streak going, but Edmonton is a very good power play with Draisaitl in the bumper, Connor McDavid kind of going everywhere. You're probably going to see him get a lot of shots, especially with Yamamoto and Kane not playing today. They're going to get a little bit more ice time. So I would also possibly look at those shots on goal. It's at 4. I know we took Kachuk on that. I know that is a high stat, but Connor McDavid, he is going to be very active today. And the Oilers have done very well in Sunrise. They've won 11 of their last 12 in South Florida.
And you can see he's pretty consistent. Like four shots seems like a floor for him.
I think he would at least hit the 4. It might push, it might not, but I think he gets at least the 4. I would probably take this one over the goals, but again, with McDavid, he's sitting at 15 and 15, so it's not a bad, anything with sports gambling, it's not a bad thing to throw a couple dollars on.
Yeah, exactly. I think with McDavid, those proven guys, a lot of times you can sort of lean to them if it's quite kind of borderline. A lot of times those marginal guys, might not give you the performances that these star players who night in and night out consistently put up the numbers like McDavid. And I agree. If there was 3.5 shots, I would have no hesitation with that. And if he was at a half a point, I would definitely have no hesitation with that. So it's going to be interesting to see this matchup this afternoon. And stay tuned to the net. We're going to have a lot more coverage this afternoon. We'll have another PrizePicks show covering the Heat game versus Charlotte Hornets. LaMelo Ball is back. So those numbers are still coming live on the board. So I want to thank Alex for joining us and everybody for watching, and we'll see you next time.